We do have to still be prepared for further downside. It is a strategy within the TBD system. We've got a really good entry around here, pretty much at the peak formation high. I would 100% be watching what the US session does. Whatever way the trend goes on Asia or UK session, look to see if we get a reversal when the US session opens. The other play could be that it breaks out, but it breaks out with a stop hunt looking candles and it does a big rejection off these sell orders. Then we don't repeat the level. That's where we would expect that there is more downside to come. So 92, 90,000, 88. Those are going to be our three targets. Is it possible that this is setting up to be a first side W and then US reverses? Yep, it is. When the funding rates are that low, you usually end with the big stop hunts to be a V-shaped recovery. We're sort of building orders between 90,000 to 88,000. We need to look for pivots in that area. And today is the day after we took this entry. We were live trading this together. I basically predicted that we were going to get a short squeeze, and that's what happened. After this candle, we dropped down to the 1 minute time frame. You can see it all happening live. I was telling the community, drop from the 15 minute to the 5 minute. Now drop from the 5 to the 1. You've got 14 candles to enter. That is live trading education right there. So I said you've got 14 candles to enter. So this is the opening candle. Then you've got another 14 candles from there to enter. We've come down to the 1 just for our entry. You got to act fast. I don't really like round number orders. Last night was a perfect example because orders appeared at 88,800. The 88,800 was more relevant than the 88 when I saw those orders turn up. Like we could get a straightaway trade even potentially. Who leaked my private community videos? Guys, what you just watched is what happens after we close the cameras to YouTube inside our private community. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse into that life because at the end of the day, this channel is mostly about short-term trading. Sure, in the right part of the cycle, we will cover long-term trading as well. However, we are mostly day traders here. And I had a very important lesson to teach my private members this week about learning to pivot from your ideas when the market is presenting something different to you and learning to become a reactive trader, reacting to what you see happening live in the moment, as opposed to building an idea and then getting married to that idea. And that's what I want to talk about in today's video. Following on from my last update, I talked to you about potential move to the upside, then for US to reverse it. Turns out what actually happened was the other way. We had the false move to the upside in the dead gap zone before the market actually opened. And then Asia and UK on Monday ran the trend to the downside and we saw the perfect pivot at the US Open. So on Sunday, I said to you, the US Open is the one we need to pay attention to. And if you were doing that, you would have got the perfect pivot last night for a long entry. However, that doesn't mean the market is recovering from here. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. So if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I'm Annie. This is Trade Travel Chill. Make sure you smash that like button nice and early. Hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And as always, please, if you can spare a second, leave comments below this video to let YouTube know that real people do watch this video and outdo the bot comments that really hurt the algorithm. I would greatly appreciate it. So with all of that out of the way, we have just had PPI. So now that that news event for the day is out of the way, we can take a look at the price action this week. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So this is the news candle right here. I don't need to look at the results. The candle tells me what I need to know. I'm on the 5 minute time frame, so we can see right on the news we had that spike to the upside. I'm going to zoom out to see what I think about the levels now, but I also just want to take a look at how the traditional markets reacted because it's going to help me to get an understanding as to whether or not that was just a fake news move and we need to be cautious. So having a look at the S&P, that also had a fair amount of volatility in that news candle. So did NASDAQ. And well, Dixie's not really doing all that much. It's kind of just hanging around at its current high of the week. So when we see candles like this with a large wick at the top, large wick at the bottom, it's a big kind of indecision. There's a big battle of traders there, or algorithms, I should say, because only algorithms can act that fast. But it's a big sort of indecision about how they are interpreting the data that just came out. So what we had was core PPI month on month was 0.0, forecast was 0.2, so we came out lower than expected. PPI month on month came out lower than expected as well, but these aren't the major news events of the week. We actually, tomorrow, the CPI is a little bit more important than that. So therefore, now that the news is over, that's okay, it's out of the way. Let's count our levels and decide where we are in the counts for this week so far. Going back to Bitcoin, now I'm going to zoom out to the 1 hour time frame, because the 1 hour time frame is where we get the weekly swing, and the weekly swing is what I talk about on this channel. So a lot of the stuff that you just watched happen in behind the scenes is part of a different trading strategy that we call the daily setup, and that has a hell of a lot more trading setups, a lot more different entries at different levels, reversal signals. It has a lot more to it. That's not covered on this channel, and usually you will trade that on the lower time frames, 15, 5 minute, 1 minute, as you saw in the sneak preview that I just gave you. So we're focusing on the weekly setup in this video, which means I need to be on the 1 hour chart. What we can see here on my last update that I did publicly on YouTube, I was discussing how I had marked this as level 3, but I did think we were going to actually complete level 3 at the beginning of the week. I wasn't sure if US was going to do it or we would run the trend in Asia, UK, and then US reverses. I didn't know which way it was going to play out, but I did have a feeling that we were going to have downside. And as you know, if you caught that video, around 88K was my target. So turns out that that ended up being the play. And then as the US opened, we got this opening candle right here that turned things around. Now, something actually quite interesting, I'll just tell you for the sake of telling you, it doesn't really have an impact on the current price, but it was good to learn, and it kind of made me quite suspicious. I learned something myself actually when I discovered this, and it has to do with the funding rate. So I'm going to come back to the 1 hour chart, but let me go down to the 15 minute because you'll see what I've marked a little bit more clearly. You can see here I've marked FR change on this candle right here and FR peak on this candle right here. And then a few candles later, as the US opened, that's where we saw the trend reversal change. What I'm talking about there is the funding rates. So prior to this period of time yesterday, our funding rates were actually in the negative. If I zoom out here, you can see here that this is the funding rates and it's all red. At this moment in time right here, the funding rates actually changed to positive. That is not normal. Usually when funding rates change from negative to positive or the other way, it happens after the trend changes, but we were still in a downtrend when the funding rates changed to positive. I'm going to be looking out for that a little bit more often now. It's not something I've seen before, but it is what raised suspicion to me. I hate to say it, but it really felt like exchange manipulation, because why would the funding rates change to positive when the trend was so bearish? And it was only positive for a short period of time. However, in that short period of time, the next thing that got me suspicious was the liquidation. So this one down here is the open interest. And when you have the sharp move down in open interest, that's people being liquidated, which you can see that is obviously what happened because of this candle right here. This was the short squeeze that I was talking about. So we had the funding rates change in a strong bearish trend. Then shortly after that, we had the liquidations, so triggering more shorts, and then immediately liquidating them. Then the funding rates changed back to negative and the uptrend started. Very, very suspicious. I'm not exactly sure what to make of it, but it was the reason that I was like, get ready for the trend change, and why I was trying to lead the community into getting their trade for this type of a setup. So moving on from that, let's go back to the 1 hour to have a look at our counts now. Now, bear in mind that this is a very tricky week because there are lots of news events. Like I said, PPIs just happened, but tomorrow we have CPI at the end of UK, and on Thursday we have unemployment claims. So it's a heavy news week, and any one of those could change the trend. It could invalidate our 1 hour time frame counts. It could be a week where the counts only play out on small time frames. So we have to be careful. We have to take everything with a grain of salt. Let's talk about this current trend that has happened, on the very small time frame. So 1 hour time frame. We have this pivot low. It's not even a trend change yet. That's the thing. So like I said, we're in the long position. Our long position is already protected, so we're okay. However, when I say it's not even confirmed yet, on the 1 hour time frame, it's not confirmed because all we have is this one singular movement to the upside. And until this move here, which is the straightaway trade, we didn't have a higher high. So when price was consolidating in Asia here, it was consolidating around here. It had not yet created a higher high from the previous high on the weekend. So it was tricky until the market maker gave us the straightaway entry. Now that's a 15-minute time frame play, but I'm just pointing it out to you on this one because for a 1 hour time frame play, like I said, we don't have the trend change yet. We've got the higher high. That's great. Now we have it, but we don't have a higher low yet. So the trend changes when you have a higher high, then a higher low, from changing from bearish to bullish. So there's still more to wait for. And until we actually get that, it could mean that this little uptrend that we have now may be short-lived. Combine that with all of the news events that we have going on this week. So my advice in my private community and my advice to you, if you are long, is stay in your longs whilst the trend is there. But this type of price action is the type of price action that you have to manage your longs very well. Whilst we continue to move up, you should also be moving your stop loss up because at any time or at any news event, if you don't happen to be around, the trend could change. And there's no harm every time price consolidates like this right here. Once it starts to move out again, your stop loss goes under there. The reason we've consolidated is because the market maker built his positions here and then he's moved out. He doesn't want to return there yet. So your stop loss is safe there. Should the market turn around whilst you're not looking at it, you've locked away some profit and you're not out at a loss. You're not taking a trade that is good where you have no stop loss, which I hope that's nobody who watches this channel, or your stop loss is still down underneath the last low. You don't want to end up where you're distracted and the trade swings around because it's a high news event and you've gone from a trade that was in good unrealized profit to a trade that ends up being liquidated. So it can't hurt you to keep trailing. I do it manually. I don't use trailing stop losses on exchanges, but I manually just keep moving my stop loss after every consolidation when the price moves out and away from that consolidation. So that's what I would advise for this week so far, because there hasn't been volume really in this 1 hour time frame through here until the vector candles just came in the UK session today. And so we don't have a nice trend change on the 1 hour time frame yet that allows me to believe we're going to get our full 3-level rises with a potential midweek reversal maybe at one of these news events, or we can continue this trend for the whole week, considering last week the trend was all one way, which was down. So sometimes that happens. If a whole week is down, the whole next week can be up. We have to wait and see as the week sort of closes out what we think there. But right now, the 1 hour is telling me be cautiously optimistic. There's no harm in being cautiously optimistic. If you've got a good trade, great, you're in the good trade, but just keep it a good trade by protecting that and moving your stop loss up along the way. Now let's have a look at the 15. Considering the 1 hour isn't giving us very good counts, we can go down to the 15 to see if we can identify the counts there. So this is the initial trend change move. This here is consolidation. All of this here is a V-shaped recovery from here back up to here. So with a V-shaped recovery, it's considered a V-shaped recovery when the right side here recovers all of the vectors on the last final drop to the downside, and then we consolidate afterwards and hold above an EMA. So this is a confirmed V-shaped recovery. What we're looking for now is follow through and continuation to the upside. We would consider this to be level 1 right through here, and then we went into this consolidation, and this here is the day trade called a straightaway trade, and now we should be getting into our level 3 rise. Now that this news event is out of the way, it didn't cause too much damage, we should expect a level 3. I think we're in it now, and we're kind of waiting for that to finish playing out. So price is currently $96,478. Let's see if the heat maps give us an idea of where we may have a target for level 3. There is currently nothing above price. So there's no interest in shorting. And that's great because that could mean that we're going to continue to feed up. But also, if you have access to something like Trading Light, where they show you the live limit orders, you would need to be looking at this again around the next news event. So it's not there now as I'm doing this update. If they appear, obviously that information goes to my private community. By the way, if you did enjoy what you just saw and you're like, that's how I want to be led, that's how I want to learn to trade, the link is in the description of this video. Come and join us. I mean, I can't make a guarantee, but if you follow the rules, there is really no reason why you shouldn't be able to at least make back your monthly subscription fee in the trades that myself and my team give you monthly. You know, we're there to guide you. So take our guidance whilst you're learning. It is a commitment to learn. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to tell you I have the easiest trading strategy in the world and you can learn it in 4 videos. I don't want to do a disservice to you like that. It does take time, practice, patience, dedication, but you have us in the meantime whilst you're on that learning journey. So anyway, consider it. The link is in the description of the video. Whilst you're down there, pick an exchange and get yourself a trading fee discount, whichever one you want. But anyway, so we don't have high-level short orders right now. That's okay. News is out the way. We can just trade what we see. So continue with your longs to the upside whilst we continue to make higher highs, higher lows on 5-minute, 15-minute. There's nothing to worry about. When you start to see weakness, then you may want to take your final profit on your longs, and that weakness will form as a trend change. So we'll create a peak formation to the high, and then we will create a lower high. That's when you know, okay, take my profit. This is probably the best I'm going to get out of this trade. One positive that I do see is that we do have long positions waiting currently at 93,000. Now, they've been there all day. So that's pretty good because that means that people are waiting to get in this long position. So there must be hope in the market because they're saying, okay, this initial move has happened to the upside. On a retracement, it should create a higher low somewhere around 93K. That's where I want to get back in. Will we do that? Maybe. We could easily do that between now and the next news event, or on the news event even, the next one tomorrow. So that's going to take more patience, and that actually would help me even to confirm my 1-hour time frame change in trend. So not mad about seeing the orders at 93K. Again, just have to make sure they hold, especially when we go into new days or closer to news events. Have to issue the warnings. There are orders below that. There are still people wanting to long at 85K. So there are still people that feel bearish currently. They may get proven right. We don't know. This is a very short-term recovery at this point in time. And we do also still have the 78K buyers waiting as well. Like I said to you, all of this is follow the trend that you see until you see weakness. Continue to protect your trades by moving your stop loss, and be aware of the news events that are coming up because they might be the things that cause trend changes and prove that this move is only a short-term recovery, but there actually is worse downside to come. So everything I've said is in relation to Bitcoin. However, it applies to anything that you're trading, really. Most things pivot at the same time. Ethereum did the same. Stop hunt moved to the downside. Gave you a better entry, actually, for after the move for the retrace. If you're around in the US session, that was a better entry than what Bitcoin gave. Let's have a look at Solana. Same deal, you know. This is why I don't really feel the need to go through a million charts a day. Crypto isn't at the point that altcoins tend to move all that different to the way Bitcoin does when there are big major moves. So last night I caught Ethereum, caught Solana. I've been in XRP since the daily flag. Let's have a look at that one. So this I covered on the channel. Since this retest, I've been in XRP waiting for it to shift out and just keep going. It's fine right now. It's a higher time frame trade, so I don't really have to monitor this daily. Render was another one that I took off the peak as well. So that's doing fine so far. And HBAR was the last one that I took as well. So that is also doing fine. But with all of these, all I'm really doing now is waiting for them to break their prior resistance, continue creating higher highs and higher lows. And once they break that, just looking for next levels. Like I said, after every consolidation, I keep moving my stop loss up. Yeah, let me show you exactly how I do that on Bitunix, for example. So easy. Love this exchange. As you can see, this is my render trade here. That's where I went long on the stop hunt move as it happened. Had to quickly try and get all those entries really fast. It was quite difficult. And my stop loss is under the higher low here. And now I can simply move this stop loss up underneath this consolidation here. That means this profit is locked in right here. No matter what, if it turns around, I'm taking that away. And all I'm doing now is waiting for this to move up, continue. Once it creates the higher high, then goes either back into consolidation or starts to retrace. Once I figure out where the next higher low is going to be, then I just continue moving that up even more. So very easy exchange to trade on. I use Bitunix for my day trading because I can execute my trades super fast. And like I just told you, I got 6 trades on the stop hunt move last night. So if you're looking for an exchange to trade on, you can get a 20% fee rebate on all of your trades with Bitunix if you use the link in the description down below. Hope this video was helpful. If it was, don't forget, smash the like, hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, leave me a comment down below. Help me annihilate the YouTube bots. See you on the next one.